Japan, the wonderful country that brought us manga, sushi, and overly complicated toilets, has an equally complex writing system. In fact, Japanese uses not one, not two, but three writing systems.
Two syllabaries made of about 50 symbols each, known as hiragana and katakana, and a collection of Chinese characters called kanji, over 2,000 of which make up a list of common use characters.
But how did it get this way? Why did the Japanese use three different writing systems? Was it just to make everyone's life more difficult?
The origins of the Japanese language are for the most part unknown. There is speculation that it may have come from Korean, but there's no conclusive evidence. For a long time, Japanese was only a verbal language, that is until they learnt how to write from their next door neighbors, the Chinese. But rather than adapting the Chinese system to Japanese, they instead decided to just learn Chinese, as the Koreans had done before them. Eventually, however, the Japanese started to write in their own language in the 7th century, although the only way they knew how, of course, was in classical Chinese. This posed a problem because many concepts in Japanese, such as honorifics and grammatical particles, could not be represented in Chinese. This led to a complicated system that used Chinese characters to represent both words and grammatical rules.
In an attempt to solve the problem, Chinese characters were used solely for their pronunciation, with no regard to their original meaning. This system, representing Japanese sounds with symbols, was called kana, which means temporary name. The concept of using Chinese characters to achieve this was called manyogana, which comes from manyoshu, a collection of poems written in the 8th century using this idea. However, the writing proved to be quite inefficient, as it could take as many as 20 strokes of the brush to represent a single sound. This eventually led to the simplification of Chinese characters and the creation of two writing systems, hiragana and katakana.
Hiragana was born from the simplification and stylization of cursive kanji in the manyoshu. This writing system was mainly developed by women of the court who were not allowed to learn Chinese, hence why hiragana became known as onnade, or woman's hand. However, soon enough, the writing system was not solely used by women anymore. Thanks to its simplicity, men also began to use the script in personal diaries, short stories, and unofficial documents. In fact, the hira in hiragana means simplified or general use. An early example of this system being used is by Murasaki Shikibu in her famous work The Tale of Genji, written around the 11th century.
Meanwhile, another writing system, known as katakana, was being developed by Buddhist monks and their students. They would use manyogana to annotate Chinese texts in order to show the pronunciation of hard-to-read kanji, or to denote grammatical particles needed to turn the text into Japanese. However, due to limited space in between characters, and students often being under time pressure to write notes during lectures, they would write only part of the manyogana characters. This led to the kanji strokes being simplified and only partially written, eventually giving birth to the katakana symbols we know today. Fun fact, the kata in katakana means partial. The biggest problem with these systems was that there were many Chinese characters that would be used to represent one sound. An extreme example of this is the sound ka, which at one point had over 30 symbols to represent it. This led to there being multiple hiragana and katakana characters to represent the same sound. It wasn't until 1900 that the system was simplified, allowing only one symbol per sound, and the writing system was finally made official.
The characters disregarded in favor of others became known as hentaigana, meaning abnormal kana. Interestingly enough, these hentaigana are still used today by some shop owners in their signs. In this picture, udon is spelled with the normal u and n that are used today. However, the do is spelled using one of these hentaigana characters instead of the standard symbol. This is similar to how some English speakers will attach ye old to their shop names. However, most Japanese people today cannot read hentaigana, only being able to recognize a few of them from their common usage in these signs.
Here's something interesting about the Japanese writing system from a linguistic standpoint. Put your fingers on your throat and make a s sound. Now do the same with z. You should feel your throat vibrating when you make the z sound. This is known in linguistics as voicing, and refers to the vibration of the vocal cords. Example, the k and g sounds in both Japanese and English are made the exact same way physically in your mouth, by raising your tongue to the back part of your mouth. This is known as a velar sound. The only difference is the vibration of the vocal cords.
The Japanese kana syllabaries actually incorporate this, with the voiced consonant sounds being represented by a special mark called a dakuten. and so the sounds ka and ga are represented by the same symbol, with ga getting the dakuten.
Hopefully this little piece of history allowed you to deepen or awaken your appreciation for the complex yet beautiful language that is Japanese. Thank you for watching our video.
ありがとうございました。